Hey guys, so doing a documentary on the build of this Mustang. So what have we done? We have epoxied the front end of the car. So that's how that looks. The front was a chore. Took me about 2 months to get to this point. What I did, this is the Mustang 2 suspension, and for these I wanted the opening clear so I could get to taking off the control arms if I wanted to. And for here, I might be able to see it better here. If you notice, these edges are rolled back, so I cut about 1 inch down and beat or hammered the edge back so I got a rolled nice clean edge. And that's how that was done. Measured both sides with a veneer so that everything would look symmetrical. So that's how that's done. The top here had a square rust hole about yay big, and I filled that, welded it in. Then afterwards I lead filled all of my joints everywhere. Put like a little skim coat of lead body solder. I don't think it's called lead filling anymore, but body solder over this whole thing, and then did that. So that's good to go. Otherwise, for here, I epoxied as well as put a undercoating across the whole thing. This Eastwood's undercoating system. It's a good system. Looks good. Then epoxied over that. For the pillars now, which is where I'm at, I just welded in this pillar, this section of the A pillar that goes from here to here. That's where I welded in. This whole thing's the A pillar. But one thing you should note is that this is sold aftermarket, this section. This is not. So plan your projects accordingly. You're not going to find this roof piece, the roof rail going to the A pillar for your door. They don't sell that. So you got to get that from somewhere. A good place I get my stuff from is Prestige Mustang, which sells recycled Mustang parts. So this piece cost me about $200. So what I did was I removed all the spot welds, which gave me a good reference as to where I had to put the new spot welds in onto this panel. And then I cut extra of what I really needed. So if you notice, this goes something like so, and I chopped out what I needed from the roof pillar, and then I removed the spot welds so that I can weld it in. So I butt welded this seam and spot welded or rosette welded this seam here and here. It's a very daunting process. It's not a nice process at all because you have to jump around. So I still have a few holes like here, here, and here to weld in, a little bit here. So tech tip that I use, it's very hard to get a grinding wheel into this corner, especially for this radius. So what you can do, being very careful, is use the edge of your cutoff wheel and basically go across. You can go like this in certain areas. It'll help you get into the hard to get to spots. And also use a lot of clamps. Clamp up everything, make sure all your lines match. Like this line has to match with obviously the curvature of this, with the being flush with here, so you want to weld it in. Another tech tip is your gap should be no more than the thickness of your welding wire. Usually your MIG wire comes in 25 thousandths and 35 thousandths, so you don't want your gap being any more than that. If your gap is more than that, another tip that I can tell you that happened to me, and which I had to do, is I had a little extra gap than I wanted because I overcut. And what you do is you get some TIG welding wire or a metal hanger. TIG welding wire, basically you can conform it. It is an old body trick. They actually use it to fix gaps in doors or fenders, or get the gap you want. And you basically bend it to the shape you need. It's very malleable, and you can make it to whatever shape is on the car. So, and then you can use it as a filler to fill in the extra gap so that you get your proper gap.